just banning away Labrov. I think they believed Daniel Orks Harrison in his player of the game vote there.
This man has shocked me. Labrov has come out of nowhere. He has been like the biggest point of criticism from fans pretty much ever since he joined the roster. And it wasn't until summer of last year that we finally saw him have that synergy with SkewMond, that they'd been working so closely. But then even this split, everyone was saying Busio's the best support. Busio clears everyone. Busio by far way better. And now Labrov is just making a name for himself here on the international stage, and he is showing up today.
Yeah, honestly, I do think that vote had legitimacy to it. All the hooks that Labrov was able to hit.
Yeah.
Really big for G2. So, Atlus, the question is, with the new draft, are Gen.G also awake now?
We don't know. Not until we get onto the Rift and see them do stuff, Kobe. That's when we'll be able to do the wake test. It is very easy to pick champions while you're asleep. Your coach kind of helps you out.
Talk to Golden Glue about that, because we've had some teams in LCS that have failed at picking the correct champions. Hopefully that does not happen here. Starting out with the Vi, though, for Gen.G. Whenever you first pick this champ, now you're signaling, all right, we are definitely going to go dive, so G2 can already think about things that are good against it. Gen.G, though, thinking about that ahead of time, they pre-banned the Bard, which is a really good answer into a lot of Vi comps, because you can defensively ult with Bard, so they've got that there.
Yep, and fun fact, this is the first time the LCK has lost 4 consecutive games to the LEC.
Ever.
Ever. In the history of League of Legends. Shocking. It's kind of crazy, as it could be 5 after this game as well, as the Varus is going to be locked in here for Hans Sama, certainly a favorite for him. I don't really like Varus at the moment, but that I think is just a personal thing, not necessarily a power level thing. And SkewMond, let's see what he's going to be locking away.
It's also just scary.
Yeah, I kind of share it when you're looking at a Vi, you know, and you're like, lock me that low mobility.
I was thinking to myself, like, what do you pick into Vi? With Pantheon and Xin gone, these are kind of the 2 junglers that you kind of use as a response to Vi to kind of match your aggression and the backline threat. But Zaahen was something that, I mean, originally I saw it first from Blabber over in the LCS, and then a lot of other teams started picking it up in the LEC. And it became, at least in the LEC, it became like first pick worthy. Zaahen jungle became super high priority, and then here at First Stand it's just kind of fallen to the wayside. So to see it now returned, we'll see if I'm expecting this to go in the jungle. We'll see how well SkewMond can pile.
Yeah, I love Zaahen when you get to play into low-range comps and you get to just thrive in the middle of these long brawls where you can have the time to stack up your passive. Zaahen, very good if you've got time. If they have a burst comp, then he's not so good.
I'm a little bit scared of a Sylas.
Oh,
Every time I see Alistar, I'm like, it's a Sylas angle. And Cap's
one of these bans over here, maybe if Caps doesn't do it now.
I feel like they're going to take the
opportunity.
Nico. They're either taking Nico or Braum here, I think, G2.
See what they do decide to go with. Punishing a Sivir Alistar lane is certainly something that you can do, and the Braum is going to come in. This might open the door to an on-hit Varus as well.
The only thing is they're lacking engage.
You don't like engage Braum?
I don't. I've seen enough Mickey Braum to know that engage Braum has definitely like a 50-50 chance of being good.
50-50? Those are good odds!
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, I'll take those.
It either hits or it doesn't, gentlemen.
Exactly.
If you get the Super Blast Cone Rift, then his chances get higher.
That makes everyone an engaged champion, though, so don't worry about it.
Okay, these are good bans, though. You got to ban Mbessa from Kiin. Like, you don't want to see Kiin just wake up and take over a game here. So take away some of those huge carry champions from top lane, especially since G2 have clearly been like Broken Blade. You know, you are going to be our front line for a lot of these games, and you're just going to pick a lot of tanks on the top side, so they don't want to deal with Mbessa. Is Ahri worth a ban? That's my question.
Perhaps. I think the Ahri has a lot of value here. There are still things like Assassins, the Soul Knights, Akali. I think Syndra can be good into Ahri. Vi Annie was kind of a bot back in 2023 combo that we've seen a couple times, which I think is also good. They're still banning away junglers.
Yeah,
I guess they're not entirely
I think Jarvan is so good into Sivir that would be worth flexing the Zaahen for.
You're completely right.
You got to respect the flex here, so.
I like that, though. It does eat up a ban. So G2 are going to benefit from that one. The Gnar going to be taken away as well. Renekton already off the table. That Gnar can work into a bunch of different picks towards the top side.
Do they just blind the Ahri? Do they have enough damage? I mean, like, the mobility is nice, but the spell shield,
I think they
a bit worried about. They could also consider Viktor if they want just kind of long range.
Are you talking about G2's perspective or Gen.G's?
Okay, my apologies.
Because I'm with Max that Ahri would be great for Gen.G.
Absolutely.
I think they want to pick the Ahri. Absolutely.
Yeah, because right now with this G2 pick, that's what I'm debating. Is it worth just slamming the Ahri now to act as a denial and also just getting that extra mobility? But I'm also thinking you don't have the best champions paired alongside the Ahri based on what you've drafted so far. So maybe just something like an Azir or a Viktor having a little bit more long range and poke could perhaps facilitate the comp more.
Yeah, it is hard because like the Sylas, if Gen.G ended up going Ahri, Sylas would be great for G2 because then you get a Sylas with an Alistar ult to seal and you get a good matchup in lane. But
now I want to see Gwen Ahri locked in. I want Gen.G to have lots of damage.
If they do
Force them to wake up.
I think if they do that, then G2 for sure just slam the Sylas because Sylas into Ahri very good. Sylas with the Alistar ult to seal very good. So that's what they're kind of waiting for here. If they do it, okay, I think it's got to be a G2 Sylas then.
It's weird though. How do you guys feel about the Ahri Sylas matchup? We've seen Ahri picked into Sylas all the time.
I think it's very Ahri favored.
Yeah,
Ahri early, but I like the scaling for Sylas. Scaling for Sylas later.
This is one of my favorite Kobe quotes of all time. The show us you Garen. I know it's from 10 years ago.
They picked it on purpose.
They're hovering it. I think it's good into Ksante.
Instead of Vayne top from Kiin is going to come through. That is not what I was expecting. I thought we were going to get that yesterday from Dokla, but instead it is Kiin locking it away. This wildly goes away from any sort of team fight composition though.
I love it because you're like, okay, fine, you know, Broken Blade, you're going to keep on picking all these tanks. Then we're for sure just going to get a Vayne lane up here and look for a Kiin.
What about the Sylas angle and he steals away the final hour?
I think G2 just pick a poke comp. Yeah, the reason why I prefer Viktor here is just because, like, so Vayne is short range, Sivir is short range, Ahri has pick potential with the Vi, but Viktor makes it much harder to get picked on because of the gravity field. You've also got a Braum to act as peel, and any follow-up from the Alistar can be heavily mitigated, and so you're very reliant on your Varus and your Viktor, and you basically just chip away at them. The problem is G2's engage is very low. It's actually very difficult for them to close that gap if they want to be the initiators. They're very reliant on Varus' ultimate or Broken Blade finding a flank. But Gen.G, they are a relatively short-range composition, and I mean, I don't think G2's going to be happy if they close the gap onto you.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this. I don't think it's necessarily a composition that screams weak in teamfight really comfortably. It's not one of those easy-to-execute compositions that I would expect a team to pick up after losing a game one, right? Because oftentimes you want to go back to comfort, ease of execution, and just focus on the basics and get a win on the board. That is not what it's looking like. It's looking like slam the top lane, try and get Kiin a massive advantage so that he is unanswerable in a side lane.
But I mean, the craziest thing about Gen.G is it feels like all year long, the conversation has been they can pick anything and they'll just win.
Yeah, that has been a bit of a thing.
And after a loss, you'd sit there and, as you rightly said, think that, okay, well, surely they're going to pick something that you'd expect is strong on paper. But no,
we needed more difficulty. That's what's going to help.
Let's challenge ourselves more with a harder to execute composition. But hey, would we not agree that Kiin is considered the best player, or at least coming into this tournament, he was considered the best player in the world?
I would agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, now that title is going to be put to the test as he's piloting Vayne in the top lane.
And honestly, I think it's actually pretty hard for G2 to catch these carries.
100%.
Yeah, you were talking about the lack of engage.
Yeah, Sivir speed and Vayne mobility and Ahri mobility, as much as it's like, oh, it's hard to pilot them, these are the best players in the world. And so I think that they will be able to pilot them fairly successfully because there's no point and click on G2's side. And Kiin has gone exhaust as well. So even if the Zaahen gets in the middle of them, how does Zaahen stick on Vayne and Sivir and Ahri carries here? It might be hard for G2 to actually hit their damage, even though they do have like a very good, we can kite back definitely pretty well. We have good, poke and range, like you're saying as well, Atlus. So it might put more pressure onto Gen.G, but especially if Gen.G can play side lanes early, then.
I think it does sort of show what Gen.G wants to do in that summoner spell. Because I think that if they were going to play for team fights and things like this, Cleanse would have a lot of value from Kiin. But instead, I think in the 1v1 and inside lanes, the exhaust is extremely powerful.
They want to try and pick this G2 squad apart with an open map.
So far in this early game, it's Gen.G that have pressure in top, kind of as we all expected with Vayne into Ksante. Meanwhile, in mid and bot, it's G2 that have that early pressure. Viktor, a very good early trader, can really outrange and just outpoke the Ahri. And in the bot side of the map, Braum is just making it very difficult for the Alistar to play, which should give a lot of freedom for SkewMond to contest that bot crab. it's likely that we'll have to see Canyon forced up towards the top side, but I am expecting that if there are going to be early ganks, they will be centered more towards that Ksante to help accelerate Kiin on the Vayne.
Yeah, I think that Broken Blade is just going to continually have a pretty rough time. Silver Bolt's now picked up at level 2 for Kiin. That is why the Vayne is so good into these tanks with max health damage.
And if the pain continues, it becomes really hard to even call your jungler. Junglers don't really want to go to lanes that are losing super heavily, like especially if it's a Vayne with exhaust, because I will waste a lot of my time trying to help you even close the distance to a Vayne, and if we fail that early on, then you are just in trouble the entire game, and it becomes harder and harder and harder. And unless Zaahen can like prep a Q1 on something else and then come to your lane and do like a flash dash and try and get it there. But again, if Ksante and Zaahen fail to close the distance to the Vayne the first time around with Flash and Ghost, it can get really painful, and she can outplay you and kite both of you.
Yeah, I think the risk is certainly very, very high.
Yeah.
Doubling down on a losing lane. As the Crab is going to be secured eventually by SkewMond as it does try to reset momentarily. Rula taking a fair bit of damage though, as the Pulverize from Duro is going to help protect him, but does get hit by those concussive blows.
Kind of what we're expecting every time the Alistar goes in. The Braum can then immediately apply that passive, and in teamfights especially, that's where it can get very scary for the Alistar. We'll have the Unbreakable, of course. That ultimate providing a lot of assistance, but Duro set his sights onto Hans.
Yeah, he's going in, doesn't find the Pulverize though, unfortunately, as Rula has to deal with the door out of Labrov, and Duro is just dead. First blood going over to Hans Sama once again, 2 games in a row, and Rula, he also has to flash 2 autos, would have meant the death of him. And just a little bit of a whoopsie here for Gen.G once more here in game 2.
Dude, this is Hans' tournament. I'm saying it, man. This is Hans Sama tournament. That flash, he is so ready for it. Duro, it's fully telegraphed, man. He starts his trample. He starts running straight at him. So Hans is like, are you really going to hands check me and think I cannot flash this combo? Hans immediately flashes it, and he pops his ghost. He's turning 100% of the time. He flashes the combo from Duro. He walks up. Labrov puts the Unbreakable so they know you win this return damage 100% of the time. And Hans Sama lays it down again in lane. They get the first blood, Vedius. You were trying to put Vikla as a North American player because he played in the LCS. I'm going to claim Hans.
No, that's not what I did.
Because you did that. It's exactly what you did. And I'm going to claim Hans because he played in the LCS. That's my boy right there. I've always said it, Hans. That's my boy.
Do you want to claim Broken Blade as well? Like,
yes.
You got a few different options.
Honestly, we're going to claim Dylan Falco too. We got 3.
I feel like we're going off topic a little bit. I feel like we've twisted the argument a little bit. But I mean, my biggest question is, what was Duro doing?
Well, he didn't think Hans would flash it.
I mean, that's crazy. He was just running straight at him.
Disrespectful,
that was mega disrespectful. I mean, he aptly got punished for it. And yeah, I was not expecting, I mean, really, against either Korean team, I was not prepared to say Hans Sama and Labrov would be winning those 2 versus 2s.
I'm so hyped right now,
but
man.
They absolutely are winning these 2 versus 2s, so credit to them. Massive glow up from the bot lane of G2, especially when the conversation around G2 has been if Caps is playing bad, G2 cannot win.
Yeah.
And so for so many G2 fans, they have to feel vindicated right now because G2 is not, Caps is not having an amazing tournament, but this bot lane certainly is as SkewMond makes his arrival.
Yeah, making his way in. There's the flash out from Duro immediately. In the meantime, though, Canyon trying to get some work done in the mid lane, get the flash out of Caps. Still a success, but flash is burnt on both sides of the map as SkewMond will head over to this Crab.
He's funneling the Crab towards the bottom side of the map, which is his strong side of the Rift right now.
Yeah.
Look at the positioning of Braum as they threaten a potential dive. They
for sure could, because they forced Duro back to base here.
It's slow, though. The wave isn't dying super quickly. They need to get here quick. Here comes Vi as well.
Yeah, Rula, let's see whether he can actually survive this one. I don't think he's going to be able to. Gets a shield.
Wait.
And the last tick is enough to do it. Labrov locks down the second one for G2.
Twice in a row, that almost happened with the barrier.
I never doubted him. Don't worry about the exclamations there. They calculated.
That was just for the moment, right? Yeah. Beautifully done,
Tension
Chovy.
out.
I love the response from Canyon, though. I think he's doing exactly the right thing. He sees that the bot lane dive is happening, but he knows that G2 have to recall. So there's a perfect opportunity for him to grab the dragon. He's going to steal that one away, and there's no way for G2 to contest. So even though Rula does end up falling, at the very least, Gen.G will get something back.
Yeah. Always looking for the response plays. Dragon #1, but 1,000 gold this early, and SkewMond's on the attack again. He does have ultimate, but so does Chovy. Can Chovy...
Yeah, that is 3 people moving on over towards this Ahri. Does find the charm onto SkewMond, just to offer something back, but still does have to burn that Spirit Rush.
So I'm just keeping a track of Caps' stacks. I believe he should have hit 100 by now, because he's only sitting at 9 in the bottom left, which means that he's chosen to upgrade his Q rather than his E early on, which, I mean, I guess he's prioritizing getting that extra movement speed, especially after losing his flash early, and also just giving him that extra trading potential against Chovy by prioritizing the Q over the E poke.
Yeah, and Caps is going to scale so nicely with big team fight damage. So they've taken away the biggest danger to him, which is Chovy's ultimate early on. And you blow the Ahri ultimates before Ahri's able to get Malignance. It's an actual cooldown right now. So, they've taken away so much of the threat. And since he didn't have flash, I think that was necessary because it's a timer where Canyon is now level 6 on Vi. So
wait, is this a kill?
And that is the charm to come on out there. That does keep Chovy alive still. Does possibly have to burn his teleport after that one.
Beautiful placement of the W. Like, he got Chovy right in the middle of it, and with no use, because he used his W at the same time, he lost his movement speed.
Yep.
So there's no way to get out of that, and then the charm connects, which ultimately, I think, mitigates a lot of the potential damage that Caps did have, but he'll get the flash, he'll get the TP. Caps playing the lane really well, which, I mean, considering his performance, he is the player that I had needed to see step up the most, and he's having a great series so far.
And he's going the tanky build so he can survive some bursts, because you know you're by Ahri, right?
Oh, yeah.
I need to survive is been kind of the #1 thing on his mind. But they take away the Ahri ult, they take away the Ahri flash just with individual play on the second time around. So G2 are feeling so comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a G2 fan, you just don't look top lane. That's all you need to do. Because, I mean, Kiin is doing exactly what we would expect in the matchup. Warden's Mail Cloth Armor picked up for Broken Blade, doing everything that he absolutely needs to survive this Vayne as much as possible. But, like, it is a horrible lane, and Riot have made it so that with the role quests, you cannot escape it. You are trapped in here with the Vayne, no lane swap shenanigans, at least for a while. And so he's just going to have to tank it for now.
And Canyon continues to pick up the objectives on the map.
Ooh, Chains of Corruption here is going to get the Unbreakable Will out of Duro. And so that is a big cooldown. Still Canyon on these grubs, like you were saying, Kobe. Not going to be able to stop him from doing that.
Problem is, if he finishes the 3rd grub, they're going to know Vi is top for sure. They might have actually had vision and seen him go.
I mean, they read the play. They can sense it.
Yeah, so they know for sure Vi just finished grubs, but nobody is really showing there, so just going to...
bot lane leads. The Hans and Labrov, after that 2v2 kill and after the dive, they're in such a commanding position.
That's gigantic as now. Broken Blade looking to close the gap onto Kiin. Let's see whether that Condemn will come out. The answer is not quite yet. This is the problem. You can initially close the gap. It's just trying to walk away that can be quite difficult.
He's actually a full level down as well. I didn't notice that. He's been zoned off a lot of XP as well. Still, though, I think overall, G2's in a fantastic spot. The fact that their bot lane is so far ahead, they are down in objectives. Canyon's been doing a good job in that department. Right now he's looking to cover top lane because he realizes Kiin is in a bit of danger here. Wants to make sure he can push out this wave and get home safe.
Guaranteed the crash.
The problem with casters telling me where not to look is that later on in the game, you're going to have to look eventually at the side lanes.
When you're told not to look somewhere, you always look there.
Absolutely.
Come on.
I was subtly suggesting, hey, Gen.G fans, keep your eyes on Kiin. He's doing pretty well right now.
I will say, the way that you pick apart this G2 comp is going to be side lanes later, as we kind of went over. And neither the Ksante, who's extremely starved at the moment, or, of course, a Viktor, is going to want to be in a long lane later on. So the biggest problem for G2 is going to be mid and late game. What has happened with our side lanes?
You're completely right, actually. Like something that when in a very dragon-dominated meta, often it's easy to forget how difficult it can be. Is Rula, he's having a miserable time down here on the bot side of the map. SkewMond continues to make his presence known.
Not a lot of vision available there, so I was a little nervous, but still, Hansama going to be able to get the push in. Has gone the on-hit Varus as well. Actually really like this. We've seen some pretty consistent nerfs towards the lethality version. So this will do a fair bit of damage. Still, not a lot of mobility. And you do have to try and auto-attack, so we'll see how he does do if team fights do break out. Still, certainly massive damage potential. Also gives them a lot of ability to do neutrals, right? Baron is going to die very quick as Arcane Storm goes down and trade for the Spirit Rush, and it looks like that is just going to be that.
And all G2 have to do are stop those plays. Continue to stop them as Gen.G are looking for a pick onto Caps. And all SkewMond has to do, jump out, show, scare them, and Dragon will be ours. Now, Gen.G, I don't think you want to force anything on the other side of the map either. Just let Kiin stay up there by himself. He's going to get turret plate money no matter what, and like push in this Ksante no matter what. Don't over-invest and kind of panic with all the stuff that G2 are getting on the bomb side.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of panicking. It's moving to a 2,000 gold lead. It's kind of gigantic. The advantage is all out here from Broken Blade, trying to take down Kiin. The final hour does come down as there's the exhaust we were talking about before. He does have to invest a lot just to escape the Ksante.
Ksante is a champion.
Meanwhile, the Coinbase gold grind, it is the bottom lane. So we have a look at the top lane, see how that one's going. Broken Blade pulls that back a little bit, and we can see Hansama massively far ahead here.
I mean, his farm very much on pace, the 10 CS per minute, 135 at 12:47. Ruler definitely having a rough time given all that pressure that's been thrown his way. But Broken Blade saying, hey, I have enough armor now that you can't just one-shot me. And I'm Ksante, by the way. I can hear the riots being spammed in chat right now as Ksante is... That's how I imagine Broken Blade is saying it.
I assume it's exactly that way. We'll have to get voice comms, but I'm just going to agree with you.
That's you should be the voice actor for
Broken Blade.
Yeah, for Broken Blade.
It's a hex plate as well from this Vayne, as Ruler is going to get interrupted. Broken Blade looking to try and get in there. He says, hey, one more time. But isn't going to be able to find it.
I don't know why I'm making it sound like Broken Blade's in a horror movie.
Every time Ksante uses all out, then you got to chime in with that. That'll be good. Bot side, maybe? I mean, Gen.G are like, hey, is there anything around red buff? There is.
Well,
There's something.
A cease and desist, and Chovy and Canyon demonstrate the Ahri problem.
Yeah, I mean, a nice pick found from Gen.G. They really punished SkewMond, just trying to clear his jungle. Good vision control, good window of opportunity, and they'll get a much-needed kill over to Chovy to get him a little bit accelerated as Hans and Labrov. That, like, if they stay the way that they are, they're going to do exactly the same thing they have in the previous Caps underneath the tower.
Yeah, it takes a couple of shots after that charm did connect from Chovy. Doesn't have Spirit Rush, though, because did use it when they were killing SkewMond earlier, so that means the Caps should be fine.
Yeah, and so for Gen.G, they want to try and spread the map, and then with side lane pressure, that opens up for more plays for a Ahri to actually work with, you know, get into the jungle for burst damage like that. So it can be very effective, as we said, versus the Zaahen. Could also be effective, even with Viktor going the tanky build with the Rod of Ages. Still could be effective versus him. But G2, they have a lot of vision in the top quadrant here, and they're going to use it. SkewMond walks in.
Yeah.
Yoinks the Raptor at the very least, as they have mid lane pushing and top lane pushing.
There is so much information here for G2. It's kind of ridiculous, as Labrov not scared of Canyon moving over. And SkewMond is going to show himself. That's exactly why there was no fear. As the door does come up, he's going to mean that Labrov doesn't really take too much. Yeah, look, SkewMond is just like, you took my red, I am going to punish you for it. Great charm is going to connect here from Chovy, though, in the mid lane as Caps. Under fire just a little, but it's not enough. Canyon wasn't quite there, so not going to be able to take down the Viktor.
This is why you go Rod of Ages into Ahri, though, because like her burst damage in the late game can be scary, but the reality is it's not like she's good at when working with someone else. She's not like Annie, where the whole purpose is I drop my whole combo, one-shot you, but then I'm kind of out. She has a lot of like low cooldowns, a lot of mobility. She connects the charm, extended fight. She can do a lot. But yeah, against Rod of Ages in the early game, she just doesn't really have the damage to 100 to 0 you. So Caps feeling pretty safe, not forced to use the flash there.
Yeah. And Canyon was able to like get close, but he's still gonna have his ult from the earlier jungle play anyway. So.
Canyon and Broken Blade just fighting one another momentarily. Kiin at 50% health, a little bit worried about continuing any battle.
And I will say, also, you know, Broken Blade has done a good job to weather the storm here. And the CS deficit appeared very early, of course, because Vayne taking advantage early. But he's kept it about the same here. And as soon as he gets his Iceborne, it's still pretty good.
I mean, you don't need that much money to be useful on a Ksante, right?
Yeah, and he got Warden's Mail and Plated Steel Cap super early on to reduce a lot of flat damage. And then you get your Iceborne, so you can have utility with, you know, bigger area slows applied later. he's still going to perform his duties.
So Han's going, I mean, I should have guessed this from the lethal tempo, but he's going for the on-hit Varus build rather than lethality.
I did mention that.
Yeah. Sorry, my brain was...
That's all right.
I have this really bad habit of tuning Medic out, and sometimes that just... I'm really sorry about that, man.
I want to say really good point, Atlus, because... wait a second.
Broken Blade could be in a little bit of trouble here, as can eat some of the CC, but not all of it. And Alistar does have a fair bit. Canyon comes down as well. Season does this. Man, they are really throwing the kitchen sink at him. But that flash was so good. Canyon will be able to get over that wall to take him down, but it costs him a flash and probably this mid lane outer turret as well. G2 on the cross map looking real good.
Yeah, cross map is beautiful. They may even get a second tower.
Yeah, top lane as well.
Caps continues to push in. That bot tower going to be chipped away at from the side of Gen.G. The Herald's going to be sent up towards the top lane. I think SkewMond's more interested in the camps. I'm not going to... Oh, wait.
In a mountain rift as well, being able to get through that wall. Obviously, does just move him towards the enemy Krug camp, as G2 Caps will be able to take down this outer turret. There it is. Shelly gets involved, and the Mountain Dragon should go over to Gen.G, the first of the game.
2 games in a row, though. G2 hold on to another game goal lead.
And it's actually really good use of the Rift Trail because it can reset and get a new charge when they kill the other one. And so he still gets a charge on the secondary turret and gets more turret plate value. So honestly, that was really, really perfect from G2. You got your Krugs, you got the extra turret plates off the secondary charge there. You took Raptors as well.
I mean, SkewMond took the whole top side.
Yeah.
He just denied all those camps away from Canyon. He's now trying to steal some camps of his own as Broken Blade is going to spot this one out.
Yeah, he's just going to get on out of there. Thought that maybe Canyon was going to think about trying to attack this Ksante, but decides not to. SkewMond going to be able to take this crab, move back towards his jungle. Canyon did return the favor by clearing out the entire bottom side. You can see, as far as the jungle CS is concerned, things very, very
Actually,
even.
he didn't get the Raptors, and I don't think he got the Krugs either.
I will say I'm feeling a lot.
He didn't finish it up.
A lot better for Gen.G with the 2 dragons they've been able to get in this game, because it's going to be hard for G2 to force Gen.G to take fights that they don't want. You know, this whole time we've been warning about the side lanes and warning about the pick potential that Gen.G have. Since G2 have been unable to stack dragons of their own, you don't get to put that pressure to say, hey, come walk into our Braum and stuff, right? So G2, they can still try and use some of the range, but it does give the feeling to me, even with the 2,000 gold lead, that Gen.G are actually still well positioned to pull G2 across the map.
Oh, they're going to dive on top of Labrov here as well, who is rotating down to try and protect this mid lane. He should be going down, although stands beside SkewMond here, who gets into that front lane. Now the teleport in from Broken Blade will be interrupted there by Canyon, but not for long, as Kiin is going to get taken out first. Labrov still amongst it as they take down the cow. G2 cannot be stopped in this series as they win another team fight.
Yeah, never mind. They go right into the team fight anyway, and G2 love it. They can handle that team fight. Everybody assembles. Broken Blade teleports in. They get the chase there. Gen.G unable to focus down a Braum. I mean, it is a Braum putting up the Unbreakable here. So Gen.G kind of running into enemy jungle here. And G2, they're very happy. This is just what they want.
I just want to talk about how great SkewMond played it, getting the knockup onto the Vayne, getting the yoink onto the Alistar, and then getting, watch this yoink right here, again onto the dashed Ahri. I've never seen a Zaahen provide this much utility in a team fight, but the placement and the timing was simply perfect from SkewMond in that fight to really set up G2 for success.
You can see Ryu is also a bit like, oh wow, we'll give that one to them.
The dreaded return is pretty hard to hit. It's not actually point and click.
Yeah.
SkewMond just makes it look real good.
I mean, and he did so much damage in that fight as well. G2 with a 3K gold lead against Gen.G for the second game in a row. I don't know what world we're living in. Like, I'm genuinely so shocked that this is the level of performance that we're getting. Yeah. Gen.G not demonstrating their typical level of dominance, and G2 building just early leads largely through their bot side of the map, enter the mid game in such a dominant form.
It's just how Hans Sommer and Labrov have been playing out these lanes. I think that bottom lane has been so incredibly important this year especially, and being able to play around that, and every single time G2 have been able to set them up to make sure that they can win.
Yeah, and Labrov, great global taunt he had there.
Oh, absolutely. You are completely right.
Engaging onto Braum is something that so many teams have a problem doing. It's exactly what the Braum wants.
When Braum has taunt, like, that is mega OP. What the heck?
And gentlemen, I just noticed 4 armor boots. Ksante, Zaahen,
well, they do have a lot of 80 carries on the MVT.
I know, right? It's just like armor boots are the way that Kiin forced to flash.
Yeah, final hour does come down there as well as he is on the gravity well. The Arcane Storm comes down, and I don't think he's going to be able to survive this one. The AoE damage just a little bit too much. Broken Blade might be punished for it as Nevermind just limps out of the way and is even thinking about coming back for more as Duro now possibly in trouble as Caps. A lot of damage available to himself as well as Canyon just nowhere that he can go as the flash through from SkewMond should be the end of him as Hansama finishes it off. And in the meantime, the cow is also dead. G2 are just destroying them.
They're stopping. They just found 3 picks. They take out the Vayne, they take out the Alistar, they take out Canyon's Vi as well. Now they set the sights on Ruler, but Lambitious, the Baron is now an option.
Man, 22 minutes into the game, they're just going to dive straight towards his Baron. Ruler and Chovy, I don't think they can do anything about this. Although they may just have to try as Chovy gets into the back of the pit. Don't know about that one. It is 22 minutes. The Baron is pretty scary. As Ruler realizes that he has to make something happen. Kiin comes down as well as Chovy taking matters into his own hands, finds the charm onto Broken Blade. As Kiin trying to dash around this fight, but there is the Baron going down. And Gen.G just had to watch.
G2 are just looking so exquisite. It's crazy how they're stomping, and even with the Baron reset, they're going to teleport back out. Can they stop them on the Mountain Dragon? It's a very tanky dragon, and G2 are coming to punish.
Let's see whether SkewMond can get here in time. It looks like he should be able to. Grim Deliverance is available as well. He can definitely get into the back of this pit. Let's see whether he uses a headbutt from Duro to make sure that this Drake does go over to Gen.G. And I think Canyon is just going to sacrifice himself to try and get themselves the dragon and get out. But I don't think this is a winning the game play. This is a trying to stall it as best they can style decision.
They have a win condition, which is Soul. If Gen.G can stall out as much as possible, maybe they can turn this game around. But the way in which G2 are playing right now, it feels like that Gen.G, this is a foregone conclusion. They're going to get the bot tower. They're setting their sights on mid as well. G2's looking to get a huge injection of gold off the back of this Baron.
6,500 gold already as well at 24 minutes is absolutely nothing to scoff at. And their composition scales gorgeously into later on into the game regardless of anything else. So G2 certainly having Gen.G on the ropes at this point in time. And last game I was very happy to talk about, oh, but Gen.G can always team fight later on. It's just not looking like this is the Gen.G that we're dealing with here today. They are looking scared. They are looking ruffled into G2 here. As that is a cleanse to come on out here. Gen.G still trying to look for a little bit of a punish. Duro in that front line will be able to stun up Broken Blade. Silver Bolt's coming on down as Chovy diving on in there, finds the charm onto the Ksante. A decent pulverize onto 2, but Broken Blade just flashes his way out. A lot of damage here from Caps as well, but he's very low on mana. There's the all-out to make sure that Kiin is just destroyed in this battle, and Gen.G just did not have enough to take down G2. It's a double for Hansama as he's untouched on the Varus. Gen.G tried, it just wasn't enough.
G2 just stomped them down again. I mean, I for one am ready to welcome our new European overlords, Atlus. Holy moly.
They're not new ones, they've just taken a bit of a hiatus for a few years, right?
Oh, they are back, baby. G2 are looking like they want to finish game 2.
First inhibitor turret going to be going down there towards the bottom side of the map as Canyon wants to stop this mid lane turret from falling, but it doesn't look like he has too many options. G2 not going to be winning the game right now. However, it is looking like they have prepared it, you know, much like in a cooking show, they prepared it from earlier.
Like, this sequence was so long because I don't think G2 had even backed after the dragon fight. So they had just, like, they haven't spent a lot of their gold. Gen.G is trying to punish that fact. They have the numbers advantage, but they can't get through Broken Blade. He buys enough time. Hansama is just free hitting on the backline, and then the Chaos Storm expanding after every single kill. Gen.G time and time again fall short in the fight. And G2, like, it is... I don't know how to properly express how unprecedented this is. Because coming into this tournament, like, Gen.G were unequivocally considered nothing short of the best team in the world. They only dropped 2 games. If they lose this, they've dropped as many games as they did throughout the entirety of the LCK to start off this year. Yeah. They were considered so dominant, so strong. So for G2 of all teams to be doing this is truly unbelievable.
It truly is. The weight of this series and the meaning of this series goes very, very hard. G2, I mean, if you beat the best team in the world in a best-of-5, Vedius,
that makes you the best team in the world.
Yeah, I mean, let's not talk about the potential LPL in the finals. We can get to that later. But G2 right now looking at Hans.
Yeah, let's see whether they can find him. He just goes golden. Did have that arm guard, breaks it now, but that buys enough time to make sure that the AD carry from G2 is healthy and alive. As Duro possibly getting closed in on here as the base is just in shambles on Gen.G's side, and they're desperately trying to get into a position where they can defend. That was their one little opportunity with Chovy trying to find that angle, and it just did not work. The arm guard, a beautiful purchase. And they're going to turn that into this inhibitor turret falling down. They'll take 2 inhibitors off the map. And Gen.G just not a lot of options here in this game as Canyon wanted to find a cease and desist, but he's going to take the kitchen sink for it. He'll be taken down. Caps is now on a rampage as a charm will connect, but so many of these charms have been onto Labrov, who just shows him the door.
Yep, Canyon will cease to exist on Summoner's Rift after that one, and G2 can continue to push the front line again. Broken Blade and Labrov. Ksante and Braum just doing so much work for G2, and Vedius, you're at the precipice of going 2 games up versus Gen.G here as they finish up with the base.
Yeah, and it's going to be the last inhibitor turret. Yeah, and we were saying before that it was the first time the LEC had beaten the LCK like 4 times in a row. Immediately they break the record, looking for 5 in a row, and it's going to require a reverse sweep from Gen.G to make it to the final here at first stand.
I mean, the only potential win condition for Gen.G right now is that the soul spawns in 5 seconds, and G2's interrupts, their recourse have been interrupted. Labrov is being hunted down. Kiin is trying to chase this one through. You can see Chovy coming in through the jungle as well.
Good slow, good slow. They pop their heal, they hit the Q.
I know this spot.
Ruler spot!
Yeah, this is the ruler spot, and the teleport is coming down. On the hunt, has been popped here and does have a lot of movement speed, so it looks like G2 not going to be able to take down the Sivir this time, but SkewMond is on that dragon. Wants to be able to deny this soul. It'll only be the second Drake here for G2, so it's not like they're threatening any souls or anything like that. But that takes away that opportunity for Gen.G to find that extra bit of power that they may have required. Thing is, their base is basically just destroyed anyway. And so it's just going to be a difficult scenario regardless. You just can't leave. There are just too many super minions.
An 11k gold lead.
I mean,
Gen.G of all
the
people.
surmountability, I think, is low.
So if we're considering this game basically in G2's hands, if they actually are able to complete this upset over Gen.G, which first 2 games they completely dominated, so
Absolutely.
that might be safe to assume, we would have to measure the magnitude of this upset versus the magnitude of the greatest upsets of all time, I would have to think.
I completely agree with you. Like, the context of this is truly ridiculous just because of the weight. Like, every single expert said that Gen.G, like, if they don't win this, it would be a surprise.
Yeah,
like,
the whole tournament.
The whole tournament, yeah. Like, they were considered favorites against absolutely everyone. But yeah, G2 is looking to bring us to match point. And when people talked about the 3-0s today, I can tell you right now, no one had G2 3-0 on their bingo cards.
Well, yes, they did. Lord actually did.
Actually did.
She very much did. All right, well, there's the pulverize on a 3. Let's see whether they can actually find an angle as G2. These wallets are so heavy as Caps does get exhausted for a few moments. They've taken down Sama. There's the shutdown going over to Kiin as Caps goes golden for a moment, but I don't think he's escaping this one. Wants to take Chovy with him, but it's not going to quite be enough as Gen.G have found a team fight out of nowhere. Still, they'll need a few more of these if they want to win the game, and it's a decent start for a comeback.
That is a huge team fight win for Gen.G. They're going to be able to buy a lot of time, and what was an 11k gold lead has shrunk to 6.
And 3 inhibitor lead. It's Duro over the back for the engage, right on to Varus. We said at the beginning, the Varus is going to have a hard time moving if they can get a flank. Duro finds the flank and they delete him.
And the exhaust onto Caps from Kiin was absolutely massive as well. If you consider these 2 to be the main damage dealers, when you neuter them, then it just becomes a damage race with Gen.G's comp, they're going to be able to win out.
Yeah, they assassinate these G2 carries, take them down. Still, though, with 3 inhibitors, you don't get to do a lot except clean your base.
And Sivir,
the thing is,
you clear a lot of minions.
Cleaning your base is quite good if
you get paid
the
a lot
super
for
minions
cleaning.
also destroy all of the money that your opponents could be picking up as well. So
yeah, look at the gold lead now.
It's only 4K. That's kind of insane.
Massive swing. Death Cap picked up for Chovy. He now has an individual 2.2k gold lead over Caps. Like, we were talking a lot about the momentum, but again, Gen.G demonstrate why they are considered such a good team. They haven't given up just yet.
Let's see whether Ruler can beat the all-time CS record as well. Has currently got a lot of minions. I think he needs to reach 1,050 from that 94-minute game, or 92-minute game. Achilles keeps telling me and I keep getting it wrong. All right, Chovy looking for a bit of an angle with SkewMond. My goodness, taking so much damage here. Does need to invest everything to try and escape. And the Grim Deliverance is fantastic. SkewMond's just being a menace. He will respawn as well. And unfortunately, Canyon does not have the same luxury. Losing their jungler here is Gen.G. Now 4 versus 5 trying to defend their base, or what's left of their base.
They still have a little bit left of the Baron, and they're going to use this to try and end the game. Duro.
Yeah, there's a nice pulverize here from Duro, but I don't think the Unbreakable Will is quite going to be enough there as Labrov going down so incredibly low, but is going to survive in the end. Chovy looking for an angle, but Kiin is going to go down. The headbutt doesn't even do anything. It's the first Nexus turret. It will fall. Ruler has to try and flash away, and he's going to be able to do so, but they're just going to rush the Nexus, and G2 have match point and are looking to clean sweep Gen.G.
This is actually insane.
This is ridiculous. I don't know how to process it, gentlemen. Yesterday was hard enough.
Everybody who's watching right now, take a moment and remember this time, because this may very well go down in history.
All right, now it is time to throw it over to the analyst desk. Take it away.
Against the favorites of the tournament. I'm not gonna brace myself up yet, but damn, they are so clean with it.